Greetings, friends. Happy new moon, happy solar eclipse. Today's eclipse happened at 12:18 p.m. and that's on Tuesday, July 2nd, and 12:18 was Pacific time. So I'm coming to you just a few minutes after the eclipse. I've spent the morning in meditation and preparation and actually sitting with this amazing message also. This is an incredible time, as I'm sure you're feeling the fullness of the opportunity and how amazing the quality is of all that's coming forward. Some of what's happening is intense, some of it's super uncomfortable. That's because we're in a huge extended wave of accelerated growth. And I hope that today's message will give you some context and also a sense of inspiration about the significance of where we are and all the really powerful ways in which the universe has your back. So the card in the center of our altar right now is the Chariot, and the Chariot is the archetype for Cancer. The Cancer new moon holds a quality of coming home and a quality of coming into a full relationship with your life and with your world, including all of your connections to family and tribe and the ways in which those extensions and experiences of family keep growing and evolving as you grow and evolve. It's one of the key principles of Cancer and of the Chariot is this ability to come into a clearer, stronger, more stable relationship with the world, and that's through your relationship with yourself. So in astrology, qualities of family and home are associated with Cancer, and that's because the fundamental aspect of this moon and of the signature of this time of year is a way in which we have the opportunity to connect more fully with our inner light. And the truth of what it means to come home is to connect more and more and more with the truth of our own light, to come home to ourself. And so this is a time of year and a moon that will help you in many different ways to increase your ability and capacity to what it means to come home to yourself. So there's a couple of symbols on the Chariot that I'll just say before we move on to this amazing tarot spread that came forward for us this morning. The Charioteer sits in the lotus position. The chariot that he sits on represents the body of the self and the body of our life in the world. In esoteric traditions and hidden mystical traditions, the chariot is the Merkaba, which is the vehicle of light that holds us and enables us to be in our bodies and also transcend our bodies. So the charioteer sits in the lotus position. This is a warrior of golden light. The gold represents your connection to the truth of who you are. And then the whirling wheel of fortune in the lotus position symbolizes the ability to hold with trust and inner calm and stability and clarity and confidence, to hold firmly the powers and forces of change and allow the universe to unfold, to allow circumstances to unfold in your life, knowing that in every moment you're at home. And there's 4 sphinxes pulling the chariot, and they represent the aspects of the transcendent aspects of ourself that also enable us to be here in the world. And there's the yellow brick road. That's always really important, because the message of all of this, of the gold, is that we are indeed on a fortunate path. Each of us is on our path of great fortune. And one of the powerful messages that came forward last night in our mystery school circle is that the most ordinary of circumstances can hold the greatest gifts and the greatest mysteries and the greatest magic. So don't underestimate, never underestimate the importance of every moment in your life. And what we think maybe is the most ordinary or most mundane may indeed be the most significant. Trust everything and allow the unfolding of everything. Believe in the magic of your life. So the chariot is indeed a very mystical symbol in this Cancer moon. Every year is a mystical time. Cancer lives at the very bottom of the astrology chart for the year, and that signals that this is the point in the year when we ground into our own light and into what it means to be at home in the world and at home with ourselves. When we truly come home to ourselves, that's when we're truly able to extend into authentic relationship with others. So there's a big power opening at this new moon, because we also there was a total solar eclipse with the new moon over the Pacific Ocean. And so this is eclipse is always open an opportunity for accelerated growth, and a solar eclipse expands the accelerated growth by revealing through shadow, through the momentary darkening of the sun, revealing what's been hidden up until now. So the days and weeks following an eclipse are powerful periods of time for accelerated growth, especially through the revealing of patterns and qualities and aspects that have previously been hidden. And this doesn't just include shadow that makes us uncomfortable because it's being released. It's also shadow of qualities and gifts and abilities that maybe have been hidden till now. So in the coming days, hold curiosity about what you can learn about yourself. This is a moon of going inside. It's a moon of nurturing yourself. The Queen of Cups is the court card for Cancer, and she's the master of emotional intelligence and self-love and love of others through strong heart and acceptance and the willingness and ability to hold trust in order to connect fully. The quality of emotional intelligence of Cancer depends on your willingness and commitment to nurture yourself first. And that means to own your emotional sensitivity as a quality of strength, to feel and trust in the truth of what's around you, and to use your willpower. And we're going back to the chariot, to use your willpower and your tools to have good boundaries, to contain your light for yourself so that you're strong and able to be in the world. If you have questions about boundaries and how to be super empathic, how to own your strength as an empath, how to own your intensity, how to own your intelligence, I'd really welcome the opportunity to work with you. It's one of the things I really love to do, is help highly sensitive people connect with their strength and learn how to work with boundaries in a really healthy way. So anyway, that's a side note. You can go to alchemymysteryschool.com if you're interested in that, because this coming month would be an amazing time to strengthen, will be and is an amazing time to strengthen your commitment to inner strength and your commitment to holding your sense of self and sense of home so that you can be even stronger and more full of light. Okay, so big moon, big eclipse. I meditated on these qualities this morning, and what I asked for when I pulled the cards was a message that would help us understand how to really embrace our emotional intelligence, how to use our minds and our bodies, the wisdom of our bodies and the wisdom of our minds, in order to live more fully in our heart and to own this time for ourselves and take the opportunity to nurture ourselves in the coming days so that we can really be available to give birth to all that's coming to form. So the spread is one of those spreads that just knocked my socks off with the power and the affirmation of it, and I'm excited to share it with you. So the first card in the center, the universe. The universe, in the position of awareness, is speaking to the truth that this is a potent moment for each of us. The universe is the final card in the deck. It represents self-actualization and arrival of knowing and celebrating the truth of who we are and our ability to be full participants. There's a birth canal pictured here. The woman coming through the birth canal is embraced and dancing with the snake of wisdom. And so I always think of dancing with this card. There's an image of being able to dance with the wonder and beauty of life, and a celebration of the presence in the moment of everything that we need. So that's a message for this, especially the beginning of this eclipse cycle, is know that in every moment you are held. You are in alignment with your higher self, and you have everything you need. The path in Earth School, is to learn to remember that. So the other cards will say a little bit about how you can show up to embrace this opportunity, and the affirmation of what a special time it is. So in the position of circumstances, we have some practical advice. The Five of Swords defeat represents fear that's held in the mind. Fives are about fortunate change. They're the number of growth. And so when the Five of Swords is representing the fact that we are going to be, as we're experiencing growth and change in the world, what may be illuminated by this eclipse and by this new moon cycle are old habits of the fear of change. It's only a cautionary, not a cautionary reminder, a helpful reminder to just pay attention to when fear comes up, because you're in a new position to celebrate those patterns and see them in new ways. And that's emphasized in the position of Spirit by the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is called interference, and it just has to do with a mind that is maybe overly active in looking at all the patterns and getting caught up in all the details of things. However, this card, I have come this year to really, really appreciate this card for a lot of strength. And in the position of Spirit, what this card is speaking to is the power of imagination and the power of the mind, and your ability now to call in your higher self and your guides and spirit to support you in harnessing the power of your mind, so that you can hold space for complexity and you can celebrate complexity without getting caught up in thinking you have to know what's going to happen. This was another big topic that we covered in Circle last night in preparation for today's new moon. And it's one of the most important principles that we need to keep circling back to as we're learning how to manifest. And that is that it's what's important in complexity when we're creating things in our lives is to appreciate the complexity and then release the habit of feeling like we have to solve it or know what's going to happen or analyze what to do with our intellect. So that's the shadow side of the beautiful, these are like all these beautiful swords with different handles and different patterns and very elaborate. The shadow side of our mind is to think we have to figure it out. The message here is to continue in the position of mind and awareness to return to the celebration, knowing that we are bringing forward gifts and abilities and creations that we've waited for so long, and that we are in the midst of a grand birth. So, Spirit is supporting you by holding space for the complexity, so you don't have to. You can just appreciate it. And this is the companion card to the Five of Swords. The two swords are representing qualities of awareness now and opportunities to shift limiting patterns in our mind. So by allowing the universe to support the complexity and the beauty, and you just celebrating your imagination, that enables you to release fears of change held from patterns in the past, and then you can appreciate the unfolding in new ways. So the final card is a huge exclamation point to this. I pulled a fourth card asking for additional information, and we received the Fool. So, where's the big one? We received the Fool. So this is any 4-card spread that has the Fool and the universe is a huge signal from the universe that we are in an important point in time. The Fool is the first card in the deck, and the universe is the last. And so the Fool represents the birth of pure potential and the celebration of creation and adventure and courage and confidence and willpower to embrace the unknown. And so together, the Fool and the universe are saying that we are indeed at the beginning of a new cycle of time. We're crossing this month a new threshold. It happens every new moon, and this one feels especially significant. If you are holding space for new seeds in your life and feeling the importance of nurturing yourself in order to allow, to enable those new seeds to continue to unfold, that's what really matters. Let the universe take care of the details. And right now, what's important for you is to go deep, take care of yourself, nourish yourself, play and laugh. The signature, the Sabian symbol for the new moon is has to do with laughter and humor as a way to see things more clearly. And so take time to dance, to laugh, to play, to celebrate, and to germinate within your own connection to your voice and to your truth. I'm going to drop in now for a moment and see if it feels like there's something else coming in. So I'm just going to take a breath. Oh, that's what's coming in, the word breath. The Fool in alchemy represents the quality of air. And air is the initiation of all that is. That's why the Fool is 0. The Fool encompasses the entire deck. There's a philosopher in the early 20th century named Alfred North Whitehead, who talked about pure potential and the infinite possibilities held within pure potential. That's the Fool, the holding the all before any of it's come to form. And so the way we can manage, the message here is, when things are really big, it can bring up fear. And that's because we don't know what's going to happen. And so we start jumping to the details to see if we can figure it out. So the message here is breath. And breath has to do with returning to the present moment. The first thing that happens with breath is that your cells receive the oxygen they need for life. Breath is our connection to life. It's also our connection to spirit. And one of the teachings that I like about breath in practical matters of the mind is that when you breathe, you cut off the intellectual chatter. Breath returns you to your body in that instant. And so it's a way to come present, back to knowingness. And then from knowingness, with breath, you can raise your frequency, you can choose your emotional set point, you can reconnect with emotional intelligence, and you can step back into the quantum field of pure potential that this spread is talking about. So the most practical advice from this message today for the coming days of new moon is to breathe, to trust, to take care of yourself, to find opportunity to celebrate, dance, laugh, play, nurture your heart, nurture each other, and look for the goodness in life, and it will be amplified. That is the way the universe works. So thanks for your participation in this message. I could feel this morning when I meditated and pulled this spread, I could feel everybody who will receive this in the future being part of this message. And so I receive a great deal from these spreads, and I hope that you have found your own personal message here too. So have a wonderful month, and months and years perhaps that unfold from this phenomenal Cancer solar eclipse. And I'll see you again in a couple of weeks with the new moon. This is Elizabeth Schermer and the Alchemy Mystery School.